All right, last preseason game. You know, it's always good to go on the road to a place that has a loud crowd. We anticipate it'll be loud there, so it'll be a good experience for us when we get into the regular season. So excited to see these guys play. Want to see them execute, and really just do the things we've been working on. So, questions?
Mike, Kirk said he expected to see some time since it'll be a road game and all that. Do you expect?
Say one more time.
Kirk said he expected to see some time, at least a little. This is a couple days ago. Would you anticipate the starters getting a little bit of time?
Down. Would I expect the starters to do what? Yeah, yeah, we'll play some. Most, not everybody, but you know, the problem that I get into sometimes, I say, yeah, he's going to play, and then we change our mind and he doesn't play. So it'll be similar to last week. Let's just say that.
You mentioned that there are some defensive players that you didn't get an opportunity to play last week, people like Patrick Peterson, Daniel Hunter. Do you know where you feel on those players, whether or not they're going to play, at least at this stage in the process?
Yeah, it'll be similar to last week, like I just said.
What were your takeaways from yesterday's more of a scrimmage for an entire half?
You know, there was a couple reasons why I did it. Number one, I wanted to find out what kind of shape we're in, you know, like playing a real game, you know, the tempo of a game, going in and out of the huddle, getting to the sideline, third downs, backed up, you know, all the different situations that you get. That was part of it. And then, you know, I felt like sometimes when you do it like that, it's a little bit more controlled than actually playing a preseason game where you're tackling and doing everything there. So you get the concept of a game, but you don't, you know, typically you don't get injuries.
You obviously evaluated Bashad on film, but what's it been like to work with him? What's he brought to that group?
That's been a lot of fun. He's a fun guy. He's talented. He's pretty smart. You know, he's got a lot of confidence. So it's been really pretty good.
Most of the camp work with Patrick Peterson, how has he been compared to what you thought you were getting when he came in?
You know, kind of as advertised, really good. Wants, like I've said before, wants to be coached. He, you know, we're giving him a couple different techniques to try, and I actually mentioned to him yesterday, you know, I saw him trying a couple on tape. You know, I just think, you know, sometimes when a guy gets a little bit older, you know, there's some things that can help, you know, than doing the same thing he's done for 10 years or whatever it is. So, but he's willing to try. He's been really a great teammate, you know, good in the locker room, good in the meeting rooms.
Mike, when you talk about like weighing wanting to play starters on Friday and some of the injuries, and
say one more time.
When you talk about like playing starters
on
Friday, and versus what you got to see yesterday in more of a controlled environment, being able to get Dalvin and Jefferson out there, how does that impact things? Being able to see everybody on offense in a situation.
Yeah,
like
well,
that?
we probably won't see everybody on offense because we got a couple guys injured, and it'll be. Really, it's going to be just like last week. You know, the guys that played last week will play this week, and the guys that didn't probably won't play. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else that Thielen won't play. You know, so and then defensively, it'll be real similar last week. I think I've seen enough from those guys and what we want to do. Sometimes we're just looking at some schematic things like what Kansas City does. So. But we want the guys to kind of understand what we're trying to doing it.
But as far as getting in a rhythm, like seeing that offensively yesterday, being able to have all those starters together, did you get what you wanted out of that?
Yeah, we'll probably do it again next week. You know, just to get another game-like situation. Even though we only have 3 preseason games this year, I think I may do it a little bit longer next time.
Even though you won't have some of your top weapons out there, what are some of the things you want to see out of the offense on Friday?
You know, it's same thing. We want to make sure we execute against a different defense. You know, what I do is when I'm looking at preseason games or when we practice against Denver or anything like that is, you know their players, and when one of our guys is blocking them or one of our guys is running a route on them, or they're working on, some of the safeties or things like that. That's what I'm looking at, more individualized things, but hopefully we have some success.
How has Wyatt Davis progressed since like the beginning of spring all the way to here?
I think he's progressed a lot. There's still some things he needs to work on, but he's got some physicality. Obviously he's still learning the pro game. Good kid, fairly quiet, like most rookies are, but he's improved.
Mike, with as much depth as you now have with the defensive ends, what's it going to take for guys like a Jalen Holmes to be able to crack the roster this year?
Well, it just depends on how, Jalen's done a good job, and sometimes it's not about just playing one position, it's being able to play a couple. Where can a guy help us more on third down? Can he be a swing guy to move from outside to inside? Who gives us the best opportunity to play the run? Who gives us the best opportunity to rush the passer? So, you kind of have to factor all those things in.
What have you thought about Zach Davidson since training camp started, and what do you need to see out of him if he's going to make the 53?
He's got to block. He's got to continue to block better. He's improved some on that, but he's got to continue to block better. He does a decent job running routes. Special teams, that's important for a backup tight end or backup player in general.
What has it meant to have the preseason games back? Like, they were taken away from you for the first time last year. Like, how is it different, and do you find it helping you more with the evaluation?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's great to have the preseason games. It's not just the preseason games, but everything is better. I was telling Mark yesterday about when we're trying to meet in Zoom meetings and we're all over the country and trying to do that and come up with schematics and plays and things like that. You can talk about it on the computer, but it's not the same as sitting in the same room with the coaches and getting on the whiteboard, and then some of the things that we're practicing, we go into the first game and not knowing what the heck, is this going to work? Is it not going to work? So, I think that's important too, that we have an opportunity to evaluate what we're doing scheme-wise and along with the players, and being able to go through pregame routine, go through, just coming in and out of the locker room and looking at the stadium. I mean, there's so many things. It's been good, and honestly, it'll be good to get on the road with a loud crowd. I think it's good for our team to have that feeling before we go to Cincinnati or Arizona or someplace like that.
Evaluation, like
along those lines, do you feel like your rookies are just further along than they would have been last year with so much more of the regular stuff?
It's hard to tell. Like last year, you evaluate your rookies against your guys. This year, we've been able to evaluate them against other players on other teams, Denver and Indianapolis and so on. So I think you get to evaluate that a little bit more. I think you know a little bit more about them, but at the end of the day, they're all a little bit different on where they're at in their maturity.
What's been your evaluation of Irv Smith Jr., and do you think he's ready for a breakout type of season?
Well, I don't worry too much about breakout seasons or number of yards or catches or anything like that. I know that Irv's done a really nice job. He's looked explosive. For us, it's about helping the team win, not so much about how many yards or how many catches he gets. So, but he's done a really nice job.
You have Adam call the defense again on Friday, and what are you looking for when he's doing that during the preseason?
Yeah, well, there's a couple things, Mark. One of it is experience for him. I think that's important for guys to get experience doing it. Part of it is for me to be able to expand with the special teams and the offense a little bit more. And he really did a good job last week. So I think it helps with the experience of doing it. For young guys, I think they should do it, and quite frankly, I don't want to do it anymore. But sometimes I do it. But it's tough. It's probably not as I shouldn't say this, but probably not as hard for an offensive head coach to do it as it is a defensive coach, because there's so many other things you got to be dealing with. So, but I've done it for a long time, so I have experience at it. But it's good to get him experience.
I would imagine is it harder in the regular season when you have so much more?
Yeah,
pretty vanilla in the preseason,
yeah,
right?
It's definitely harder, but he did a good job last week. I told him that after the game. When I was with Parcells, he'd tell me when I did a good job and when I didn't do a good job. So, I think it's important that they understand where it is. Bill used to say, I have to bleep this one out, but I'd make a call and I hate that blankety blank call. It's like, I said, Coach, they got 1 yard. So, it's just different.
You were concerned a couple weeks ago about the state of the backup linebacker group. Has anyone kind of separated themselves since then?
Well, I thought they all played better last week. I think that's whoever asked me about the preseason games, I think that's one of the benefits of doing that. The week before they weren't very good, and I think they all improved. I thought Dye improved. I thought Surratt improved. I thought Connolly improved. I'm probably forgetting somebody, but basically I thought they all, from week 1 to week 2, was a big improvement. They played much better last week.